Hello and welcome to sunny Spain. La Cedric is hosting the 2018 ICF World Cup Slalom Finals. We've seen semi-finals this morning. Now we're down to the top 10 athletes in two classes. First off is going to be C1 men, and then we're going to watch the K1 women. I'm Matthew Layton. To join me to look through what's going to happen, how, when and what, we have Robin Jeffrey, Adam Burgess. How are you?
Great, thanks Matt. How
Hi.
are you?
Yeah, happy to be here, thank you.
I don't believe you.
Well, yeah, I'd rather be in the final, but yeah, if there's one place to be disappointed, then La Cedric is not the worst place in the world to be.
So you can see it's about 2.5 hours drive west of Barcelona, about 30 kilometers from the center of Andorra. Absolutely stunning location. You can see it's the 1992 Olympic course, which hasn't had that many changes in the last few years, apart from clearly the trees are much bigger. It's a man-made course. It's powered by a hydroelectric dam when the water flow is not that big. You can see the course that's been set up today is a tricky, interesting course. Adam, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, in general, it's like really flowy. They've used the water and they've used the features really well. The section through the middle, 11 to 14, that is pure canoe slalom there. Feature moves, definitely for the spectators in the bank will be focusing their attention around that section.
Let's just go back to the standings after 4 races, and it's crucial. Double points at play here. Slavko, 4 times second place. It really is in the driving seat. Sidiris Tassiadis has not made the final this week. A lot of surprises. Luca and Savchek have possibilities there. But yes, we're going for double points, and this is the starting lineup. It's in the reverse order that they came with penalties in the semi-finals. The top 30 athletes went down this morning, and we have some really young athletes. There's Nicolas Gestin, who surprised everyone by making the final last weekend in Tatsan, 18 years old from France, and some big athletes there. Benny Sachet had to go through the second run. I can't remember that last time he did that. And Robbie, you've been obviously watching very closely the coach. How do you see the lineup?
Oh, it's a super exciting lineup. As you said, two young guns, Miguel Chavez and Nicolas Gestin. He didn't scrape Gestin, he was flying in that run. He even made it with a touch. But another man who scraped in with a change in penalties at the end was Anton from Germany.
So he clearly has been a top paddler. We saw he medalled at the 2014 World Championships, and all the emphasis now is clearly doing well today, but targeting 3 weeks' time the Rio World Championships as well.
Back to form a little bit for him as well, with a medal last weekend in Tarsen, picked up the bronze there. So yeah, back-to-back finals. He's in really great shape at this stage of the season.
He's coming in for a spin here, so this is going to be the option for righties and lefties. So it's a hard direct for the righty as he sweeps his way around. A little bit of a long line, Adam. What do you think there?
Yeah, I think it's probably quicker to stay on the inside blade than to use the sweep like that, but it's good to see him trying it. He's kept the boat moving. It's similar to his run in Tarsen so far, to be honest. He looks like he's just doing... He was early off there as well and just did a good job, and it held. And so far, this is looking pretty decent.
Yeah, when he just holds it together, he's surprisingly quick, and this is the move that the righties love. They come in, they can just lean back, jump forward, gets a little bit stuck maybe on the exit again. So Anton losing a little bit of time in the middle here. Needed to take full advantage of that, and sweeping his way into the tricky pour over up.
Very good there. It's a really tricky approach to that upstream, unfortunately, as I found out earlier, and this one as well, another difficult upstream here on the drop.
Yeah, absolute banger though for a righty.
Done that very well.
Push out.
We saw quite a few penalties in the preliminaries on this last section.
Yeah, I think you will see more in the final. People will be trying to cut that line even tighter as he leans back, sprinting his way to the finish.
This is a really good level.
This is quick.
Yeah. This is the longest sprint in the world, actually. 100, so that's the fastest time that we've seen today in C1.
This could be, it's a déjà vu. We saw exactly the same way. He was first or second off last weekend, and delighted with his run.
Really good start for him. Clean run. Maybe left the door a little bit open. Bit of time in this here for... the right-handers there, they can really take advantage, and he's done a solid job, but there was a bit in it. But everything else was pretty spot on, really.
Yeah, maybe that up left at the top, gate 8. So I think there's a sub 100 run in here.
You do tend to see this in SEO as well. Like, I think it's one of those venues where there's a race here every year. The course is like, there isn't a huge amount of variety, so we see a lot of the same moves. Athletes generally know what to do, and it's really tight racing. Like a touch can knock you down so many places. It's always super tight. So, I wouldn't even be surprised if that doesn't make the podium. We've seen it before. Early runs and you'll think definitely a medal, and then out of nowhere the last 3 boats all pip him. So
I think what's interesting as well from the amateurs' point of view is the fact that it's going to be the place where it's hosted the 2019 World Championships, where the majority of the quota places are going to be given out for the Worlds. A lot of you athletes are going to put a lot of time down here.
Definitely, and here we go. This is a really exciting run now. Miguel Chavez, this is his first senior final.
18 years old.
18 years old. He's off the back of an amazing summer. 2 gold medals at the European Championships, the C1 category that you see him paddling now, but also in K1, which I've heard he only even paddles about once a month. Wow. He was also junior world champion
in both categories as well.
And he's absolutely amazing. This is his home course. We saw him in the semi-final get off to a really not a very good start, and then just change gear halfway down, and he just rinsed the bottom half of the course. And
he's looking quite conservative to me at the top here, not really driving the boat. One of his big skills is just letting the boat run under him, and he's picked up a touch on gate 8. I didn't see that, but
just in the background you can see a bit of movement on the pole, but yeah.
So he's
4 seconds off.
Yeah. So he needs to do a lot of work here.
This is where we saw him up his gear on the last run, so that was very good. So much control. Showing a lot of maturity despite his age as well, really, to not just go crazy in the final. It's easy, we often call it final fever in canoe slalom, particularly like your first final, but he's actually doing
He's holding ground, but he's lost another 0.1 of a second, so we need to see something special down the bottom from Miguel Chavez.
Well, the speaker's giving it his all.
Yeah, the local support is incredible here in Sao. They've got another touch. They've got such a good local support system with the club, and he's running a very short line, so perhaps finals fever getting to him at the bottom here. But a great experience for the young Spaniard.
Well, it's not bad.
It's still a very respectable performance.
No.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed with that, but I'm sure, he looks like he's enjoyed his first final experience.
And crucially, the first athlete who actually knew where the camera was. We've had most of the other athletes turning away. He knew exactly. That's a point of stardom. Jess Fox never misses a camera.
Definitely, and 100% he's a star of the future for sure. Rising star in the sport.
Does that inspire you, or you think, no, not another one?
I paddled with him the other day, and it was great fun to paddle with someone who loves the sport as much as I do. As part of it, he just loves being on the water, and it's cool to have people like that.
You can geek out all day.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. He's like a kid at Christmas every day. As soon as he jumps on the whitewater, you can just see the smile on his face. So anyone who's got that enthusiasm about what they do, you always want to be around them.
It's the great thing about this sport. I don't think people don't really have beef with each other if they're getting beaten. It's more everyone's kind of stoked by it. If people have good runs, it's cool. And
we've got a good family, don't we?
If you win a race, then it's because you're the best, and you've earned that. So yeah, it's cool.
From one of the youngest paddlers to one of the statesmen, Vidislav Gebas.
Yeah.
He is famous, isn't he?
More experienced, shall we say? Definitely not an old boy though, for sure. And fourth at the Olympic Games recently, and then hasn't really done much since that race. I think he may have taken a bit of time off after the Rio Olympics, and looks like he's getting back into it now. So
he's gone for the spin there. I think we'll see most of the lefties, if not all the lefties, spin, and it's really protected that down in the eddy. Now he takes advantage of being on the left, so he'll come through in the eddy, crank it round. Now needs to get on his bike.
I really liked how he did that in the semi-final, to be honest, and he's not managed to repeat what he did, although he looks like he's going to be in touch with the split. Second down, so to be honest, being on the left, going into his bottom half, I wouldn't fancy his chances. He's going to need something pretty special, I think, to challenge France. It's lovely and dry there, though. Very nice. But let's see how he gets on with this upstream, which we've not seen a left-hander.
He's going to have to sweep it to make up some time, and he does that. Jumps back on the front. That was quick. I think that's the quickest we've seen so far. So
really good, but I don't know about the setup as well. It just takes that a little bit longer on the left to make sure you're in the right position.
So he's held his time. So he's 1.35 down, and again getting dragged up and a bit sticky on the exit. So this is another challenge. So big turn in the fast water in the back of this eddy, and then you have to crank it around again on your crossbow, keep the tail light. Oh, and he's caught it catching edges. I think there was a touch in there, maybe. No.
Nothing showing yet, so maybe he stayed off the poles, so he's clean at least.
Yep.
We have had some calls coming out late, though.
Don't think he's going to challenge. No.
Mate, that sprint.
It's still not a bad run. 102.
Not bad at all.
Oh yeah, the sprint. You go through the last gate, and it is a long way.
It's just below us, isn't it? It's about 10 metres, maybe more.
It feels like about 100 metres.
There's not many sprints in World Canoe Slalom as long as that one. For sure, a solid run there, and
very solid.
But
we do have an asterisk next to the name, though, still. So there's a debate over a 2 second potentially.
I think gate 22 looked very close to me, so we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Let's see who's next to go. It's Mr. Consistency. Alexander Stavkovsky, second.
Yeah, four silver medals from the last 4 races. Can he make the step up?
I was asking him yesterday, has it ever been done before? 5 seconds in a season? And he said, I don't think so, and I don't want to.
No, we'll be aiming for gold here. He wasn't initially in the final, but had a touch taken off.
Exactly, that was a bit confusing for us. And I was asking him also, I said, have you won here? He said, yeah, I think a few times.
Oh, well, a few years ago, the Slovaks went 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I remember that race.
It's incredible. And I don't think it was Slavkovsky who got the win that day.
I think him being in the final pretty much wraps up the World Cup overall as well, with him on the top spot. He was way out ahead with his 4 silver medals, and Sidoras Tasiadis is probably the man who could challenge him outside of the final.
Yeah, just missing out Sidiris.
Well, there's Sidoras, there was you, Adam, there was David Florence, there's Michal Martikan, all in the next 5 points.
So, nice start for Slavkovsky. Not just setting his run up, I'd say. Just wanting to keep the boat moving smoothly, save a bit for the bottom section. And he's gone direct, so that our first righty to go direct.
I like the direct option there. I think it helps out to have the space below. It's really deceiving, and we've seen athletes go too tight in there, and penalties picked up already. We've had a touch on gate 9. I just saw a little bit of movement on the pole. Yes, I think he's just brushed it with his paddle. Doesn't matter if you just brush it or if you hit it really hard, it's still a 2 second penalty, and that is probably going to be costly. And he's in. We've seen that a couple of times today as well.
David Florence, after an absolute flyer at the top.
Well, they've moved some of the rocks just below the bridge, so the water's coming through tighter and faster, they're saying.
Yeah, the consequence is not quite as severe as it was for the guys we saw it happen to earlier. He still managed to roll up and do the upstream, but he's way down on the split now, especially with that touch. Don't think we're going to see him compete for a medal here today, unfortunately. Even a second place.
Yeah, he'd have to pull off a minor miracle to get in the medals, but
it'll keep him motivated for the Worlds.
Exactly, and he's such a showman. Watch this as he comes through, running the shortest line possible, just bouncing from edge to edge. Yeah, there we go, and falling in again, but he's really trying to push, so this is where you see some of his creativity coming through. Big sprint.
So to roll and still only be 6 seconds back with a 2 second penalty is not bad.
Not bad at all.
He did all right. Just that one mistake. Such is the cruelness of canoe slalom sometimes. One error and you can be way out of it.
Yeah, and because it's so fast down there, you might think that you're on track, you're on line, but it just grabs you, and as you can see there, maybe weighed a little bit too far on the front of the boat, so caught the front edge before he was quite ready for it.
And Etienne Stott knows all about that area.
Yeah, it wasn't fond memories for Etienne popping his shoulder out that year.
But look at the focus on his eyes. He's up and ready to go. Next to go, Olympic champion who, I don't know, has he struggled to perform this season?
Yeah, not his usual self. He's only been in one final well, this is his second final now. But you know, he's had runs. There was we saw glimpses of that form he showed in Rio, Krakow this year. His heats there was unbelievable. And then he's won here before.
Then Gaga, Canoe for France.
You know, the French, they're all very good on SEO. They're almost like locals too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, every year they have their selections here, so he knows his course back to front.
And they were telling me earlier that in the power strength tests in the French team, he was just amazing off the scale.
He is one of the most powerful athletes going around. He's always, and he's really looking for how to create that next step, the innovation. So Denny, the light, he looks so light and smooth with his style, but there's a lot of power going down that is really deceptive.
Yeah, it's a really nice style. He looks like he's just not really using much effort at all.
Sunday cruise.
It's his connection with the water. He's actually, the blade's coming through a bit slower, but that means it's gripped and he's actually pulling and moving himself forwards very well. Yeah, I love watching Denny.
So second down on the top split. I'm surprised by that because, as you said, the lefties need to be ahead moving into the bottom section. Drops a bit of an edge, but keeps it light. And he's in and out. Again, losing a bit of an edge, and he has to set up here, take a bit of speed off.
Again, it's not bad, but it's just not quick either.
He's lost almost another second, so he's 1.9 down now. So
is the space to be made up in the last 4?
It's difficult on the left-hand side with this right upstream now, and
he's run a long line in there as well, like hips all the way to the wall pretty much. So
I think he's going to struggle because Franz was good, although that was very good on the crossbar there.
It was.
Very good.
He had to push up a long way up. Franz was able to cut the line a little bit shorter, so he's just looking to maintain speed all the way to the bottom here.
Well, the 5th of 10 athletes to go. Denny Gaga, the Olympic champion. How's he going to do? It's
close.
really flying.
Just outside, I think, but second place. Yes, so 1.64. He did make up a little bit of time down the bottom, so 0.3.
Maybe that's the confidence he's looking for to gain the Worlds. Well, of course, Franz Anton's happy.
Yeah, he's sitting pretty at the top at the moment. But yeah, we have seen this before. I just remember the men's kayak final here last year, and Schubert went off early, and it was like, look, guaranteed medal, and the last 3 boats all went ahead, and he ended up 4th. It's just such is the way the races go here. It is always tight.
So halfway through, I wonder if we're going to hear from some of the top athletes so far. Franz Anton. So is it possible to get better?
I think so. Like
There's
we
a
said,
sub-100 in there for
definitely.
sure.
Franz lost some time in gate 8 and also through in the middle section at the up 14. So I think Ryan Wesley.
I think all of the next 5 are capable.
Everyone's capable
Of delivering it. I think Justin might have gone sub-100 on his first run, but with the penalty on top to finish on a 101.
Well, let's see. I think we're just about to go across to Franz Anton to have from the horse's mouth exactly how he sees the situation.
Congratulations, Franz. You're leading at the halfway stage in the final and faster than anyone in the semi-final. What's your opinion? Are you going to hold on to that lead?
I hope so. I said to my coach before the race I can do it below 100, but it's pretty close, so I'm happy with it.
And who are the big threats still to come? Who's going to challenge that time you set?
I think all of them who are coming can challenge this time, and so I will see. Just watch the race.
Thank you, Franz.
Great new innovation this season to actually hear from the athletes. Ida's reflecting on what could have been. Of the athletes are watching and learning, and some of the C1 athletes obviously preparing for tomorrow. Good crowd here today.
Yeah, it's picked up today. It was a bit quiet yesterday for a race here, but I think the sun and the weekend it's brought the fans out. It's good to see.
Yeah, and why wouldn't you get out here? It's such a beautiful place. It's probably one of my favourite places just to even just take your shoes off, go for a walk in the luscious grass, chill out under the trees here on a hot Spanish summer day.
And they've changed quite. Is it a change that they had the middle section? They had a lot of tents where you can relax. Now you have your own village. Is that a change or not?
Yeah, it is. So they've kind of kept it a little bit more open, which is nice. But
Ryan Wesley, GBR, top paddler.
Off the start, he's having a great year so far as well. He's made every final so far this season. Been on the podium twice. And really good start so far. He looked really quick through the first couple of gates.
Had to crank that. Boat was starting to turn back to the left, but brought it back around. Run slightly long in gate 5. That drop there, it's called sticky fingers for a reason, because it really does hold you up and slow you down. He's given himself the room, and that's a really nice direct move on the right there.
Gave himself good space to be able to pull hard around that. I think he's going to be well in touch with his split.
Yeah. I do not envy the righties having to paddle through that eddy on their crossbow, but he is well in touch. He's 0.37 down, so he's doing well. Coming into this crux move on the wave, bit of a hit, but nice punt out. That's one of the
bit of a hit,
seen.
and he ended up flying in. It threw him in the right place.
Had to recalculate quickly, but looking good so far.
Yeah, and he's taken that tight, and he's
little
picked up a penalty. Just lifted his blade underneath the pole, and already on the split now. You can see that's done some damage, but being on his right side, he has got a potential to try and make some of that up.
Yeah. So Ryan's got this really nice style where he keeps the paddle in the water as much as possible and as vertical as possible, so he's got the ability to adapt quickly, and you can see it there.
Really quick around that upstream.
Really short line, much shorter than all the lefties that he pushes through. Keeps it dry, which is good.
Surprised to see him on the
Oh,
crossbar
another 2
there.
seconds.
I think
Just
that's
cutting the line a bit too much there on the last stagger.
Second last gate.
Very quick though. He would have gone into the lead by 100th.
Yeah, super tight racing, and that's what we love to see. Athletes having to push every single stroke to make those marginal gains.
He looks like he's hurting at the end.
Yeah, you wouldn't say he was particularly offline, and again, just cruel sport. He didn't do a lot wrong, and
I think he just lost his edge here, which caused, there you go. So lost the edge, bit of balance, and was reaching with his paddle to try and regain his balance. So keeping the
saw
boat
him on
settled.
there on his semi-final. He went direct at the pole, and it looked risky, but did it well. And same again there, and maybe the risk just hasn't quite paid off for him this time around.
Yeah.
So far, Gaga from France is lying in second place behind Franz Anton, and we have another Frenchie coming up. It's Cedric Jolly, who is a top junior and is trying to convert it into the senior ranks.
Yeah, current under-23 world champion. So he's on form this year. I think this is his second final of the year
More
as well.
than that, I think. Another guy who's been getting lots of finals at the Europeans, Litovsky World Cup, maybe the week after in Krakow as well here. So having a really good season so far.
And again, the French on Seo are so strong. So expecting big things of young Jolly. Coming through, righty going for the direct, nice and smooth.
Really
drops
quick there.
below, and he's falling off the back of the wave though. So bit of grunt work to get back up.
But he kept the boat moving, so I don't think he's lost loads. He's definitely going to be.
He's going the wide line, so looking like the spin.
I don't like that move. I think that's going to show on the split as well. That
you just take all the speed off the boat, don't you? And then have to re-accelerate, so not only is it perhaps a little bit slow, but a bit heavy on the arms. But he's 1.5 seconds down, so not insurmountable. As we saw, Franz had a little bit of a time loss in the middle and at the bottom.
Ryan was so far 4 seconds back, and he came third. But 4 athletes to go.
good onto the wall using the punt there. See how he does. Looks like he's taking a bit more setup.
Yeah,
We've seen.
throws the hips under.
It's not bad, but it can be done faster.
It's a slightly awkward position. I feel like the gate's a little bit lower than it would normally be set for an upstream, which makes it very challenging. Oh, that was nice. Silky, in and out, tight line. So needs to fly down here, has the jump, loses the edge slightly, he's tight. So he's running the shortest
sounds like
line
there's quite
possible.
a few little bits that are not going perfectly.
Definitely, yeah.
And
lots
he's having to rip around.
Yeah, and he's just losing his run a little bit, taking some hits on these waves through the last offset. Sprinting to the finish. I don't think he's going to be in touch, but can he challenge for a medal?
I think he will. I think he'll move into third place maybe. No, just outside.
Just behind.
So fourth place for Jolly. Yeah, like you said, just those small little mistakes. This course, you need to be so precise, driving the boat downstream whenever possible. I know Tony Estongue, hero of our sport, said every opportunity you've got to be looking to put speed on. And I think as soon as you're having to do more turning than forward strokes, you're in trouble on this course.
Next, we have a really exciting prospect that many athletes won't have heard of, or many public won't have heard of until last weekend when he made the final. We're looking at 18-year-old Nicolas Gestin from France.
He reminds me of Tony Estanguet.
Definitely, yeah, he's got that style.
Just his semi-final run, he was so light, so dry, and it was speed first. Sometimes a lot of the athletes like Jolly there was running really short lines and trying to make time by going on short lines. Gestin was taking slightly longer lines but going so fast. So different philosophy.
And there we saw Mallory Franklin, who's going to be going the last of the women in the K1, which is great. Current C1 world champion. Whose arm is that? It's the man.
It's the young Gestin.
Do you have nerves at 18?
Well, it's his second final now, so he's got the experience from last weekend racing in Tarsen. There is world rank 190. Yeah, so definitely a bit of an unknown. And although it looks like a bit of an uneasy start again, we saw him in Tarsen qualify really well in the semi-final and then fall apart a little bit in the final. Hopefully this doesn't happen. It's just a blip at the start of his run and he can get it back on track. But it's definitely not an easy thing to do. You know, when you first start making finals, it's almost like you do that and then it's another level up to then start medaling. Just getting used to that feeling of like racing for a medal. It's a nice problem to have.
You can see there he took a slightly longer line just to get his boat in the flow a little bit more. Unfortunately, I think the touch and those time losses at the top, a bit more steering than he was doing in the semi-final, of catching up to him. But that's a lovely up. Yeah. It's one of the fastest ups we've seen today under the bridge there. Sweeping it around, getting the pre-turn on the boat. It's a little bit deep. It's not bad.
It's pretty solid on the left.
Again, more time.
Showing more. I think just that upstream on the stopper there is so fast on the right when it's got it right. France must have had a good one because everyone's losing time on that section now.
Yeah, we thought he'd lost time there, but he was just super solid, kept the boat moving. Gestin, he's letting it overturn. That's going to be tight as well. We might even see an asterisk for review as he had to sweep under.
Well, not going to threaten the leaders, unfortunately, today.
No.
So France Anton, after 7 athletes have gone, is still leading. 8 athletes now.
So he's assured of a medal now.
Well done.
So back-to-back medals for France.
And it hasn't really been the final that I think we were expecting so far. There's a 4-second gap on the podium right now. I'd have expected less than a second here, to be honest.
Yeah, especially the racing we had yesterday. It was incredibly close.
So hopefully these last 2 athletes are going to keep the standard high.
Slovenia
and both exceptional. Savsek, who we're going to see next, reigning world champion, medalled here before. He's just crazy speed. We see him medal on occasion with multiple penalties. He is that fast. Takes risks. But he's really excited to watch this run now. And Luca Bozic, who's going to be last off as well, he's having a great season so far.
And Dan Goddard and Marco Vicente, who designed the course. I believe you weren't too happy with gate 16.
Yeah, it's the only bit I was a bit upset with. A little bit probably because that's where I messed my run up. But I believe everything else on the course is so flowy and real pure canoe slalom, and that was probably the one bit I didn't like. But,
I thought initially maybe it favoured the lefties, but like we said, I think it's very balanced as Benny starts his final run. A few years ago he was known as Mr. Semi-Final, but he's really worked out how to make that next step and put it together in the final. So we'll see. At the top it's looking very smooth to me.
He's looking good so far.
So Robin Jeffrey, as a coach, can you pass on some things he's doing well to your guys?
Yeah, I use him almost every day. Look at Benny, look how he keeps the blade vertical, he keeps it in the water. You can see there on the upstream, he kept the blade outside the gate, so he's got all the pre-turn, so he's not having to do big turns once he's in the gate, and he's a little bit down actually.
A little bit down. I thought he was a little bit too tight to that up left, and it's he was good around it, but it cost him speed, I think. Yeah, and penalty as well.
Lost the edge, so now you can see he's engaging biceps, but it's such a fine line actually into this right.
That's very good for a lefty, that is. That's the best we've seen that done so far on the left-hand side.
So even with 2-second penalties, only 2.71 down.
So he's made up time, but he's, the penalty is costly so far.
So
He's going
this
to need a good
needs to
bottom
be
section. That was very quick, although getting held on the exit there again. Just a few times on this run, he's just stalled and cost him valuable speed.
What I like there is he's staying on the front, keeping the tail really light, so he's not getting dictated by the water. Now he needs to really get going. So his raw speed in a straight line, he's not known for it. And I think he's going to be outside, but he could jump into the medals just. Yes, third place, so plus 314 down.
One athlete to go, and we do know that Franz Anton has at least a silver. He's leading at the moment. Denny Gaga Canoe has a medal. Well, that's why they look so happy.
I don't think France has won a World Cup yet.
I don't think he has, no.
He's got silver.
Right. He probably has in his C2,
Yeah.
former C2 paddler until after the Rio Olympic Games. And they were world champions in C2 as well.
And he's got a big week coming up. It's the German Championships on Tuesday.
So he's just peaking in time for the German champs, eh?
Exactly. But he's booked his place for okay, one athlete to go, and it's Luca Bozic, who is capable of medaling at this level. Who's going to do it?
He's medalled a couple of times.
And
at another former C2 paddler as well, consistent medalist in that category. And made the switch to C1. It's really impressive to see how he's done that, actually.
We're seeing a trend here. C2 paddlers, they're excellent. I think they're a step above, really.
I think so. I'd agree with that as well.
Adam Burgess
is
is
a former C2 paddler as well.
Current and Robbie Jeffrey is a pass. So anyway, let's see how Luca can do. He's certainly in the zone.
Yeah. He always looks really focused on the start line, and he medalled at the last World Cup in Augsburg.
Yeah. What I love about Luca is his body movement. A really smooth transition of body weight from front to back. So you'll see here on the front, and then gradually moves his way to the back once he wants to start.
Well, in his C2, he was known for his movements, wasn't he?
Yeah. Very, very visible, like body language almost. And
it's
I think he holds his top hand in an interesting way as well. There's something about his style that really makes him stand out. Another paddler who, is smooth, so you might see him. It might not look like he's working that hard, but it's more the smoothness and the fact that he's not losing speed is where he gets his speed.
And he's going to be up on this split. Is he? No, just down.
Last athlete to go, so it's putting it all out there.
Just down, but very much in touch. Would have been disappointed. Or did he medal in Tarsen last week? I'm not sure, but I don't think he did.
I think he might have just been out.
Which means he'll want to make that right. Being here this week, and that's
sweeps it around.
That's good. It's
pretty
on
nice.
The edge, but very good.
Making time up now. 0.12 seconds up.
Now we've got a race on our hands. The last third, a tenth between the current leader and Luca Bozic on course. Very good round that up left.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he's up here. But Franz has such a good finish. Can he do it? If he does it
Luca's
really
on
nicely.
It was good in the up, and he set this last move up well, so I think he's going to carry speed all through this section. This is going to go right down to the wire.
This is what we want to see.
That long sprint that we've talked about, has he got it in the arms? Let's see what he's got.
He rushed to the front through the eddy down there, and I think that took a bit of speed off. Can he get there? He does. He does.
There's a win. And he's visibly happy.
He's delighted. It's his first win in his C1.
So, world champion in C2, World Cup winner in C2, now World Cup winner in C1. Congratulations, Luca Bozic.
Knocks his teammate, Denny Savsek, off the podium into fourth place.
Well, that's what you want, isn't it? The first and the last to go are fighting it out.
Yeah, so super exciting finish there with Luca Bozic getting the win, Franz Anton second, Denny Gaga Canoe in third place. So Denny's first medal of the year as well.
And it looks awesome for 3 weeks' time when you're going to be out there in the world. Shows there's so many guys capable of doing something.
Definitely. There's a good 20-30 boats in the C1 category who are capable of medaling at that race in Rio, which it's going to be a really exciting event.
The depth in C1 now is frightening. It's really hard to make even semi-finals these days. There were some surprises yesterday and last week in Tarsen even. Takuya Hanada, Olympic medalist, just missing out. So, yeah, can't wait to get to Rio.
And we're going to look at I guess at the overall standings, it's probably going to be Slavkovski, I think, who's going to take it.
Slavkovski, Savsek's probably going to be up there. Luca Bozic could have seen him sneak up. Let's have a look.
Well, Luca Bozic certainly wins this race. The only athlete to gain net under 100 seconds. Franz Anton takes the silver. Denny Gagos takes the bronze medal, with Benji Savsek just missing out this time. And we're all waiting for the calculator to come out to see where the overall standings are. It's crucial, double points this weekend.
So that touch costing Benny a medal. So. But yeah, Luca, love his style. Really excited to see him on Rio as well. It's quite a technical course, lots of stoppers.
Let's hear from Luca Bozic.
Luca Bozic, your first World Cup victory there in C1. Where did you find the margins?
I don't know yet, but I think I worked really hard in the past 5 years on C1 discipline, and I'm really happy that I did it today here in Seoul, just before 1 year before the Worlds. So I'm really happy for this first win for me.
Well, it's a great result. The only person under 100 seconds. And how important is that for you going into the World Championships in 3 weeks' time?
I think I have confidence now, and so I'm really happy for that. I know that I'm prepared good during the summer, and I will do my best for the final in the Worlds, and then we will see there.
Great. Well, congratulations. Luca Bozic, our race winner. Congratulations.
So we have the winner. We're looking for the suspense of the overall standings of the World Cup. And Slavkovski wins it from Luca Bozic by just 8 points. Sidis Tassiadis moved down to third. It's important because points means prizes. So well done, Alexander Slavkovski, for taking the overall this season. We're now moving into the Kayak 1 women, and it's always bittersweet here because my guest probably would like to be anywhere else today but here. But thank you so much for coming out. First of all, the standings so far. Jess Fox is leading Karina Kunle, Ricarda Funk. All of them have made the final, so it's going to be interesting to see how they're going. Firstly, Fiona Penny, hello. Kimberly Woods, happy birthday. Sorry that you didn't make it, both of you.
Happy birthday, Kim. I totally forgot. That's fine. Thinking about the race too much, obviously. I knew it was on the 7th.
Well, here you go. You can make your apologies later. This is the order we're going to see the athletes going, which means we're going to have excitement all the way. We expect the two flyers to put down something amazing. And then at the end, we have a good old Mallory Franking to see what they can do. Or Young Love.
Yeah, it'll be fast from the start. Obviously, we know that Ricky and Jess can put something very fast down, so it'll be interesting to see where they lay it down at the start.
So Ricardo Funk, one of the best athletes when you're talking about power to weight ratio.
She's really powerful. I'm sure she's going to lay down a good time.
Be interesting to see how they take this move on here in the finals. So Ricky's taking on gate 4 as a spin. Some people were taking it on forwards in the semi-finals, including myself. But maybe there'll be a bit of learning. We'll see some more taking it forwards.
Yeah, I think Mallory Frank's the winner of the semi-finals did it as a spin. So, but I know like Anastasia did it straight. So it will be whoever can do it the best, I guess.
And the crux move, is it around 13?
Yeah, unlucky gate 13 as it is for some. So that is definitely a crunch move.
Yeah.
Let's see, they're coming into this section we're talking about. Did you nearly knock yourself out, Kimberly?
No, not at all. All of a sudden, I thought I was on the right lane, and then I was underwater. So I was a little bit disorientated, as you would be. But Ricky's showing us how to do it.
Also, it's hard to see. There's no splits at the moment to see how she's doing versus the rest of the field because there hasn't been anyone yet. But to look at it, looks like a good run so far. Getting nicely between the poles, keeping the boat running.
And she normally doesn't run out of steam at the second half.
No, so she's always charging for sure.
It was very nice into that upstream and looked to keep it smooth and running.
Key at this point of the course is also just to keep picking your way between the poles. You can get a bit tied up on the inside poles there and just kept that run really well.
It's a really good run. Very good.
That's a really fast time.
We should be great in future technology if we could have a microphone on Jess Fox.
I'm sure that she's probably in her own head and in the zone, and we'll probably see a concentration face at the top.
So Ricky Funk's put down a stonking time, I believe, the fastest of the day.
Yeah, I'll probably put it out there and say that's going to medal. As I think I was 4 seconds quicker than the semi-final times. I think it could have medalled in the C1 men, I think. So, yeah, an amazing first run down, and we'll see if the other girls can chase it, and I'm sure the next paddler, Jess Fox, can.
Yeah, Jess had a couple of touches on her semi-final run, so more incapable of being higher up the field.
And as we perhaps don't need to say, she's having a rather good year so far.
Yeah, just a little.
Won the first 3, just came out to an amazing run by Karina Kunle last weekend, so came second.
Yeah, by very small margin, so I'm sure she'll be going out there to try and take the win today.
And she had torrential rain. She used you as a reference, Kimberly. She said she saw you suffering and she thought, right, I better be ready for torrential rain.
Yeah, for sure.
Look at her, there's the game face.
Yeah, she's a lot more composed than I was in Krakow, but...
You had horizontal rain, she had vertical. It's a difference. Anyway, let's see how she goes, Jess Fox. Second to go in the K1 women final.
Cutting the line very tight on the inside pole, gate 1 there. She will be trying to find the small margins she can. Going for the spin again. I mean, she can get nice and high up into this gate 5. So.
And hearing her talking after the semi-final, she was talking to be within hitting range of Milan, who I think is a bit her heroine. She said it's great.
Yeah, and the water here can be a little bit changeable. Like that wave can come and go, but she's going for this very tight line in the sweep, and
it's a case of head and boat.
Yeah, the whole head has to be in the gate line. And
no, they've given her 50.
She may have given him that. So, I mean, I'm sure they'll be looking over it over and over again. So.
Well, last year and this year she's been clear, but 2 or 3 years ago she was given 50 so many times.
Yeah, I guess it's the risk versus reward, and she was really good on gate 7, but then ended up really high, had to push back, and mustn't have not got her whole head around the gate.
Well, if there's 50 stays, it's going to blow open the overall standings as well.
Yes, it's true. I guess maybe the judges gave it on the actual in the real time. The judges on the bank, and then the video judges will be having a look at it, double checking, and then we'll see how the final result goes.
Well, they'll have Miriam down there suggesting that it might not have been a 50.
Yeah, it's a tricky gate to judge.
She's on a very quick time though, and she's really reset after that and charging down to the finish.
Well, we'll have to see, won't we?
Yeah, that would have been well into the lead. A very quick time.
I think she might know it as well, and
she's quite set to know it, I think.
Well, she's the ultimate pro.
Oh yeah, for sure. She'll be gutted inside.
I was listening to some of the old timers just saying how much they admired yourself, Kimberly, and David Florence today. That you had obviously a big mishap, but there's so many petulant youths out there that banging their boats and stuff, and you kept it through with grace.
Yeah, well, a couple of years ago you probably wouldn't have seen me doing that. So yeah, I've moved on a lot, and over time you grow as an athlete as well as a person. And this year I've been really focusing on being able to be aware of what's going on, accepting and just resetting and carrying on the run. And unfortunately touched the last gate, but I was really happy with how I continued the run.
Yeah, I remember. I think that was my first commentary on the World Cup in 2012 when you had a bit of a fit.
Yeah, it was Cardiff actually.
Yeah.
I think I'd fallen in and come fourth, so I was really, really gutted to think that I'd made a mistake and came fourth, so close to a medal. So yeah, I was pretty gutted, and I think this year is probably the most consistent I've been in my head. But we can have a look at Marta now, see if she can.
Apparently she spent quite a bit of time here and loves the course. So Russia's so representative so far.
Yeah, Marta's been around a little while now. Been
Your generation almost.
Nearly. Not quite as old as me.
Experienced.
Yes. And yeah, no, good bit of experience. You know, when she gets a good run going, you know, often you'll see another good run. So, you know, maybe the start of the season wasn't so good for her, but it's coming through now. Nice and tight around 7, pushing it up to 8. In for the sweep and then out into the flow. It's important to get out into the flow there a little bit to like help you down to 9, so you're not paddling against the eddy, the still water on the side all the way down to that section.
Is the 2.59 off, but we saw Ricardo Funk do an amazingly first section. Is the mentally the 2019 Worlds on your radar yet? On the radar?
Oh, definitely. Of course, it's probably on a lot of people's minds, and this race is a good stepping stone towards that.
So that's clearly going to be held here, and the most important thing about that is winning a quota place for your country. Then you have the fun of qualifying for your individual.
Indeed, yep. And yeah, Marta obviously
1.6, she's catching up.
Using this experience to go forth to next year. Yeah, Marta seems to be like taking it quite steady at the start and then building through into the rest of the run, pushing hard there down into the drop. A little bit further around, but that's not a bad thing necessarily. She'll get good speed out here.
I think it's important with that upstream as well that some athletes go in tight, and going into tight ups is good, but especially there you've got so much back current, you can use that to your advantage.
We lost a tiny amount of time there, readjustment on the second last gate.
Are you conscious of the rocks underneath? I mean, can you have a visual map in your head of where the rocks are?
Not so much necessarily here. You know
you
where
certainly
some
can't
are.
see it with the muddy water.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, the last session before the race, you couldn't see the rocks that you can see now, so it was a bit difficult to try and spot them. But we trust that the gates are in sensible positions, so you don't have to go over any.
And it's Dan Goddard, Great Britain, Mark Vincenti from Spain, who've actually put together the course.
Yeah, they would have been at the training sessions, watching what the athletes are doing, trying to get an idea of what is a flowing course during the week. So, yeah, they've set a really challenging course today. Heats was a little bit tighter than the racing, but it's good that they've stepped up and made it a little bit more exciting.
Kimberly, we talked about your run. Fiona, you were going really well at first.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, I had a good top section. I was really pleased with that. It was very fast, and then unfortunately just lost a little bit of speed coming out of 19. Didn't have the same speed through the drop, and then 20 just seemed to go past.
Eva Tuchel, she's won here before.
Again, good line through gate 1. A little bit held up there in 2, but marginal. We're just looking to get the boat position right here so she can come out of the spin onto the back of the wave here, so she can push up into 5, nearly losing the bow a little bit, but managing to pull down, get the speed away down the section called the fingers. A little bit shallow down there sometimes, but this higher water level is making it a little bit easier.
And I've just heard from my producers, who are very good mathematicians at the moment, Ricky Funk is overtaking Jess Fox in the standings.
Well, it just means how much this last race can cost to some people. Like, we all thought that Jess was so far ahead, but because it's double points, that someone who's like in 5th or something can take over.
Well, let's keep watching to the end. So Iveta Chel, dropping a little bit low there, or was just me not watching properly?
She was a little bit under the left-hand pole. She came down through 12, so quite on the inside of the stopper, and that can kind of push you a little bit lower into the up, and there again, a wee bit too on top of 14, so...
Not enough pre-turn, I don't think.
Yeah.
But she's
Slipping
still
back
pushing.
5 seconds. So we've had first to the 4th athlete to go. Kimberly, briefly, how are you going to celebrate your birthday?
Probably go out to dinner.
Are you staying here today? Of course.
She's got C1 race.
Yes,
Yeah, I've got C1 tomorrow, so-
Fiona, you're flying back today. So I was being a bit
am,
confused.
yes, yeah.
And Adam Burgess is flying back this afternoon as well. So Kimberly has the C1, yes.
Yeah, I take a lot of learning from the girls today in my own racing and also the C1 men, and try and figure out a good plan.
Well, Eva Turchell moves into 3rd place.
I guess we're going to see something we don't see too often, Jess moving out of that top 3 on the camera.
I think it was fairly clear. The asterisk has come off, and she doesn't seem to be contending at all.
She doesn't seem unhappy about it as well, which is really good to see an athlete making a mistake but also still smiling at the finish. It gives the younger guys a really good role model to look at.
And I think that's what. Why is it Joe Jacoby, the legend of the course here? He was talking about how impressed he was with the Brits. About just your discipline and the fact that you're sort of honouring the sport.
Yeah, I guess the whole setup has become quite professional, and we all drive each other to a higher level in every aspect of the sport, really. So
yeah, it's good to see everyone cheering each other down as well.
Katerina Kudyova next to go. She was leading at the halfway stage last weekend in Tatsan.
Yeah, she'll probably know fine well the time that Ricky's done, but she'll focus on herself and put as close to her plan as possible.
Well, she trains with Yuri Priskovic, so she's used to watching flyers.
yeah, probably used to watching his very tight lines, and probably struggles sometimes to remember that that's not necessarily what you need to do to go fast still. In the kayak women's class, it's not always the tight lines that are the fastest. Sometimes that can slow you down a little
So
more.
how is she looking so far? Well, certainly clean.
It's good. The spin there in gate 4 was good, going up the wave to 5. See how she gets a turn done here quite early in the turn, so it's going to be quite high, I think, into gate 8. There we go.
Yeah, that was really
Just
nice.
having to reverse off the pole a little bit even. Finding the tough bit of water, she should have really maybe pushed out a little bit further out of that gate to get into the flow to help her. As it is, she's going to have to use the guns to get down the still bit of water.
Well, she looks strong.
Yeah, definitely, and she's got good long levers. Again, seen the tight line there, which it's not too bad, but sometimes you can get pushed off downstream a little bit too much from gate 13.
Yeah, she'll look to set up this really early. A lot of pre-turn to come in. Yeah, not too bad. Push out the end. She's 4 seconds down on that second split, so she'll have to do something really well to catch up to Ricky's time.
Quite tight here on gate 17, that's good. Out and away. Let's see how much comes on top of this gate. Quite high. She keeps pushing to the back of the gate. There we go.
But certainly the medals
Good
are
speed
open.
out.
Maybe Ricky Funk can't be caught, but the others can.
Yeah, for sure. And she'll look to finish off really strongly, and the sprint to the finish is probably the longest sprint at any other course, so
She had to push off a little bit at gate 22 there. She'll be really annoyed with that. I'm sure that she lost a few fractions of a second there, not keeping the boat running.
So, 5 athletes have gone. Katerina Kudyova has an asterisk. And what are we going to hear from Vicky? Probably. So, working out the mathematics, if Karina Kunle wins it, I'm hearing that she would win the overall. But that's obviously early days.
Yeah, I
it's
think
early days.
Connie will be just putting down the run she needs to do.
She was spectacular last weekend.
Yeah, really fast, and obviously she's been doing a lot of work on how to put a final run down, so we'll see what she does today.
There's Mr. Mardigan.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
It's great to see so many
He's
people.
chilled out so much in the last year or so.
Probably even more than that, actually, but yeah, he used to be a far more
Intense.
intense athlete, sometimes a little angry, but now he's very friendly and is wanting the best for the sport.
And so far he's putting quite a bit back. I remember in Liptovsky he was giving a lot of coaching to the Chinese and seemed to love it.
Yeah, no, he'll know that course quite well, I think, to give the coaching.
So I think we're going to hear from the young lady in question at the moment. She had all the pressure, so she just qualified for the final. Look at that determination. Jess Fox took a 50-second penalty on gate number 8. I'm just about to hear from Ricarda Funk halfway through the final K1 Women Cedric Jolly World Cup final. Double points on offer.
Ricarda, you are in the lead at the halfway point in this race. Outstanding time, 4 seconds quicker than anyone managed in the semi-finals. Is that going to be enough to win this World Cup final?
I don't know if it will be enough, but I'm really happy with my run. It was a really good run, apart of the touch, and we will see what the girls will do.
And 5 boats still to go in the final. Who are the big threats? Who's gonna really threaten to challenge your time?
I think, of course, Milan, she's the local, and Connie, she's always surprising. She's having a really fast run, and we will see.
Thank you. Well done. Congratulations so far, and 5 boats still await.
That speaks a lot about Ricarda Funk. She doesn't know the word of the understanding of the word threat.
She's got very good English, but I can imagine it's always very difficult to be under pressure in that interview situation when you've just done a run to remember all the words in English.
But threat for her doesn't really come into it. It's like, I'm as good as I can be.
Yeah, indeed. She just focuses on what she's doing.
So Lucy Badu is making her way down the course rather well.
Yeah, it's good to see her in the final. I think she did really well at Krakow, maybe.
Yes, she medalled there.
So she'll be really super happy with that, and glad that she's in the final with such a competitive field.
I think the French team is in quite a good place at the moment. We were messing around doing some film with them all, and they're all up on a high and loving each other's company.
Yeah, she's definitely obviously a younger paddler, and definitely got that strength, long levers to pull herself along.
Yeah, she used to remind me a bit how Mallory was, and I kind of get confused watching the both of them.
Mallory has those laser eyes that she's just focusing in on the next pole. It's not bad. It's going to take a medal. Potentially second place.
But still, that 4 second gap.
That's okay. It doesn't matter. It could be a 100th of a second or 25 seconds.
Yeah, just edged ahead there. So she's 0.31, is it, ahead of Marta in third. Astros is off, so good run.
So Helmut Oblinger and his team have been in place now a couple of years, and they seem to be doing something right with the Austrian setup, because there's a lot of strength in depth now. Yeah, indeed. The boys are doing well showing, so they just need some C1 men on the circuit, and then a good full team. Obviously the C1 women are doing well.
Yeah, it's not a massive team, but they're putting a lot of effort into just the few that they have, and it's really good to see like Connie having a medal last weekend, and also the C1 girl Nadine winning the under-23 World. So they've got a really good setup, I think, and they've got a lot of strength within their athletes.
Connie was telling me that Helmut was showing her the video of me on the top 2 sections, so obviously we'll see how she does it.
Okay.
She went forwards in the semi-finals, so I wonder if she'll made that same decision to go for that on gate 4 again. A little bit tight on 2 there. It's not too bad.
And for her confidence, it must mean so much to win, because she has a reputation of having challenges with the concentration.
I mean, you know, sometimes if she has a little mistake, yeah, that can build down the course, but I think she's learned to overcome that very well with her psychologist over the last few years.
And of course, when I started in this game, she was a double world champion.
Yep, indeed, like 2010 and 2011. Using those levers that she's got to get down that flat bit of water. Bit tighter line there.
Very much in touch.
Very much. And you know, if anyone can do it, Connie's the one.
Must be so difficult, Ricky Funk, thinking, do your best, girl, but I still want to beat you.
Yes, indeed. I mean, obviously, you know, we're such a close community. You always want everyone to paddle at their best. You don't want massive mistakes going on. And she did that bridge move very well into gate 13, and that little pivot there and that upstream was really
look at
good.
this, nearly a second. This could be crucial, because if she wins here, she might well take the overall standings.
Yeah, she has to keep the concentration going all the way to the end. That's
Commentator's curse.
No, that's expensive. What's that, 3 or 4 seconds?
Yeah, maybe a bit more than that, and obviously she'll be knowing about it. You can see she's charging hard now into this upstream. She's going to be pulling really hard just to try and get a medal at this section.
Yeah, she refocused really quickly, and she's such a strong athlete, so she'll be sprinting as hard as she possibly can to the finish.
Just having to shrug off that pole, keep pushing all the way.
No.
Into second though,
still
amazingly.
second.
Which, you know, as we knew, if she managed to hold that together, she could have pushed for the medal, and I'm glad she did.
Well, it's still potentially in there with 3 athletes to go. Oops. Don't step out there. Very good organisation. They throw them back in really quickly.
Yes, just grabbing a quick bottle of water. Yeah, no, you see Connie there, so she didn't really manage to get right into the very back of gate 17 enough, and she was turning to go out away from it before herself and her boat had actually got above the gate. And
It did well to keep it clean.
yeah, I'm going to see it again just for good measure coming in. So this part is good, it's fine, but just at this point she's maybe a little bit low, and she's wanting to get going, get out, and the boat over rotates. And then just here the sweep, and this is what pushes her down. The nose is already going, is already wanting to leave the gate. But good on her to pull that back there to get the
Most of
concentration
you
up to the finish.
athletes are from sort of, there's not many poets among you. You're all mechanical and engineers and mathematics, and I suppose you have to analyse so many things.
Yeah, it's a very sort of logical sport in a way. And
Anna Satilla, second in the qualifications in the C1 and first in the qualifications in the heats for the K1, so obviously doing something right, and has the excitement of having a home world championships in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, she's on form at the minute, and looking to take that on straight. She did it in the semi-finals, and she did it really well, and you see her just sprinting so hard off that start.
yeah, she's a very powerful, small athlete, and I'm a bit jealous. I think she gets onto the poles a bit easier, you know, that way.
Yeah, I remember her at London 2012. She was just 16, and her and Jess being the youngest athletes there, and she's grown so much since then, and it's great to see.
I think she had a bit of a sticky bit of water there, going from 7 to 8. She was having to fight really hard into 8 to keep the height, and that's probably a lot of that time loss that you can see there.
Coming under the bridge now, the crucial.
Very nice. Nice and smooth.
Well, there's a touch, no?
Yes, there. I think that was maybe the top blade as she ruddered around the pole. She did the move really well, and yeah, just maybe almost a little bit too tight with her paddles.
Well, 4.5 seconds up off at the moment, which would put her out of the medals.
Yeah, she's obviously made a little bit of time up with that bridge move, because obviously the touch is included in that split, but yeah, not quite in touch enough yet.
What's interesting at the moment, I mean, it can all change because there's 3 more athletes to go. Where's she gone?
She's just a bit tight there in gate 19, so that would have made this a little bit of a struggle. She just, didn't have the speed out of the upstream so much because she was so tight in. She didn't have that same speed to keep her going out into flow again after it, so gate 20. But going to be well outside the medals, unfortunately.
So I'm hearing it's getting actually quite fun for the overall classifications. We have 2 more athletes to go, so it could change things. But as we stand, if they come first and second, Connie wins by a point, I understand.
Oh, wow.
But, this is what I'm hearing, but there's still 2 athletes that could really change the situation around.
And there's her daughter right there, like waving for the camera. Milan's daughter.
Oh.
Getting excited for mum coming down the course.
Wow. So Milan Shiro, on her day, you can't say anyone's unbeatable, but on this course, you have to be pretty good to beat her.
Yeah, I mean, she's not had the best of World Cups, the first 3 World Cups of the season. She didn't actually make any of the semi-finals due to 50s. But yeah, she's had a change of boat now, and obviously home course, she's always, she's flying on this course, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what she can put down in the final. She's not unbeatable, but
there she goes. Is she one of those athletes that's almost throwing up, or is she cool? And
I think, she's been around long enough now, same age as me, just about, and has enough experience and knows the course really well. I think she'll be most comfortable here, but obviously we'll know that there's a great deal of pressure from the locals for her to produce the goods.
I know a few years ago she messed up on day 22 or something. Let's see how she goes today.
Yeah,
There's a lot of power going in there, isn't
Yeah,
there?
she's such a strong athlete. She's well connected, and she just absolutely throws the boat around.
Yeah, when you know the course so well, obviously, you don't have to focus so much on where you're placing the boat and how you're going to get around the poles. You can just put more effort into actually getting the boat moving.
If you've done it 1,000 times, you just know.
Yeah, so I think this split will be very good because that first section was pretty spot on as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
There we go, well up.
0.3 up.
Good crowd, look at that. Let's hope there's no one in the way.
Yeah, she's probably done this Carl about 1,000 times as well, and
At least.
that was very nice.
Yeah,
That was good, isn't it?
really awesome, yeah. See if she gets a pre-turn now dawning off. That looks good. Again, a little bit held.
It's going to be close on the split there. Oh, look at
Oh,
that,
wow.
1.47. She's
Yeah.
made up 2 seconds.
It'll all be down to what she does in the bottom here. So, again, needs to just keep focusing on what she's doing, not listen to the crowd.
But this could go into Ricky's favour, though, for the overalls, if Milan takes the lead.
Indeed, she'll know this
Oh,
drop really
very
well
on top.
too. She did that in the semis, very straight on top of the upright. She's losing a bit of speed coming out of there. Going to struggle to the next gate. Oh!
2 second penalties, but has she lost speed?
She was in a similar situation to I was, coming out at 19 there, not enough speed, so this could be just
No.
outside.
Oh,
Ah,
that 2 second penalty would be very costly.
Now it's split the 2 athletes up. That I might hear from my people, but that might change things.
yeah, she was nice, coming into 19, good speed, but then just don't know what really happened, but she got a little bit stalled and then lost the speed coming out at 19. Similar issue to what I had. Then had a bit of a fight to get to 21.
But the little daughters there, obviously they're proud of mummy.
Ah, yeah, there
Yeah.
she is near the finish line there, waving at mum, cheering.
The Spanish have a Spaniard on the podium, which is really good to see for the home crowd.
Oh.
One paddler to go, Mallory Franklin. Yeah, she's on really good form, and she's made a few finals this year, and she'll look to see if she can step it up. After the last World Cup she went to was in Augsburg, she got silver medal behind Jess, so she'll look to follow that, I guess.
All the Brits' eyes are going to be on this young lady, Mallory Franklin, current world champion.
Stern look
In
on the start
C1.
line.
So anything you like, because you obviously know her incredibly well,
Anything I like.
on a positive and constructive basis.
Well, she's powered by some white chocolate Toblerone today because she asked me to buy that for her in Andorra yesterday, so we'll see how well that does.
That was a very nice spin there. Pushed back really well and catching the wave. And
A little bit held up on that stopper, so a little bit of time loss. It's not much.
she's running the boat really nice and smooth, and I think it's a new boat at Augsburg as well, so she's doing well so far in it.
Getting a little bit of fight going on there.
Ooh, nice.
Very about turn on there. It means she'll be going down the still water. I mean, obviously it's something that the coaches have been looking at between runs as to whether that is an option to go
2
2.21
seconds
down.
off, yeah. That's still good for the medals there. That'll put you into third place, sorry.
See how she does this curl move.
Nice.
Done that
Very
well.
nice.
Oh, wow. Out quick.
She's probably made a little bit of time there. Like to set this up really nice. A lot of pre-turn. Sweep. Yeah.
Come on.
Not bad.
That is pretty good there.
Making time at 1.3 down. She's made some time up. That will put her in second or third place. Second place.
Yeah, she's probably gained confidence from those two moves. You know, even though she was a little bit
Oh,
down.
that was nice.
Good too. A little bit down on the top bits, but yeah, she'll gain confidence.
So 1.7 to make up.
She needs to use the water out here to get far enough across. Yeah, she knocks the ball down really nicely.
This is threatening now. Can she catch up more time? It's 1.7 down at the last split.
This is probably going to medal.
Yes, go, 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 go. Sprint.
105 is, yes,
Oh.
third place.
Oh,
Third
so,
place.
so tight.
Yeah, she must have lost a little bit at the bottom. I think there was a wee bit of time in gate 19 and the exit, even though she was very straight between 20 and 21. I think there was just a little bit of time in that upstream.
But amazing for her to get a medal, and I don't know what that's going to be for the overall World Cup standings.
Well,
but
it was desperately close, but Ricky Funk has put 2 more places between her and Karina Kunle.
Yeah.
So I would guess. Anyway, we'll see in a couple of minutes, but that's great. It's a well done. At least one medal, and you'll be hoping she has a silver tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be watching from home tomorrow. It's going to be quite odd to actually, like, you know, have paddled that course and be watching from my living room or probably my back garden as I'm getting the boat ready for going to Rio.
But I heard it gets you 4 days off instead of 3.
I wouldn't say days off, but I'll still be training. But yes, back home, it'll be nice to get a little bit of home time.
Wow, that was fun, wasn't it? Well done, Ricky Funk. Well done, all of you, to bring it home on this quite testing course. What are the margins there? The margins are spread out quite a lot between first and second. But first, second and third is 2.66 seconds. Ricky Funk, Milan, Shuro, Mallory, Franklin. No asterisks known any of the names. Jess Fox, fast time. She would have come. She would have done. The fastest. But unfortunately, undisputed 50-second penalty on gate number 8.
yeah, she probably would have made a little bit of time up as well, as her whole head wasn't around the pole. But
Okay.
yeah, no, it would have been a really close call if she managed to do that. And really good racing from all the girls. It's a tough course, and hopefully the lads tomorrow can learn from the girls today.
See some flyers. So yes, we're halfway through. We're going to have a little bit interview with Ricardo Funk. I think she's going to be happy.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, quite astounding to come from 10th to that.
Ricardo Funk, race winner here in La Seu d'Urgell. How important was it to get back on the top step of the podium just before the World Championships?
Yes, I think it's really important to have a good final run for the self-confidence, and now I'm really feeling good, and I hope I can keep the feeling. Yes, I'm happy.
And where did you find the time between the semi-final and that final run that you produced?
I don't know. I was just fighting for every time I could get. The upstreams and
Well, excellent result. Well done, Ricardo Funk, winning the World Cup final.
Well done. I think she prefers paddling to being questioned. Let's have a look at the actual winner today. Was Ricky Funk from Germany takes the gold, Milan Shuro from Spain takes the silver, and Mallory Franklin from Great Britain takes the bronze, with Connie, Karina Kunle just missing out, Jessica Fox 10th for Australia. Let's have a look as soon as we can at the overall standings. Double points.
wow.
Wow, look at that.
1 point.
Jess Fox wins from Ricardo Funk from Karina Kunle. Well, there's a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, it's double points. Like, I think Jess probably might have thought that Funk got a front, but yeah, no, 1 point is nothing really.
Well, I think morally, for my money, she deserves it in the sense that you know, three victories in the first 4, outstanding. But you know, star doesn't come down to who deserves it most; it's the best. But well, what a great tournament! What a great advert for canoe slalom. That after 5 races, you can be so desperately close. Well, that's been fun. So, Fiona Penny, safe flight back and face boat fixing. You probably get a bit of extra money by fixing other people's boats as well before you fly off to Rio.
That won't be happening before I go away. I've got too much of my own stuff to be doing.
And Kimberly Woods, once again, thank you very much on your birthday for stepping up to the plate, and we'll be watching you very closely tomorrow, and hope you have the best run of your life.
Yeah, me too.